So ever since I was in first grade, I was always put in the artistic talented class, which pretty much was like a class of all these kids who are really good in art. And then when I was in high school, I was in the Jersey City Arts High School program, and I just focused on fine arts. And then when I had to figure out my major in college, I decided photography because I felt like painting would not make any money, and at the same time I couldn't draw things realistically, and then I invested in getting my own camera after my dad gave me that other camera. So my dad gave me the Kodak camera, and then I finally bought another camera, which led to me majoring in photography. I don't know if that made sense. I went to School of Visual Arts in New York City. When I was in school, I definitely didn't appreciate being in school. I just took it not necessarily as a joke, but I was just doing my assignments, but I wasn't really appreciating being there, learning the process, and I didn't even expect that I wouldn't even stay there that long. So one of my professors was really close to me. He actually was very concerned about my well-being, and he escorted me with the chairman of the photography department to the school psychiatrist. The school psychiatrist tried to diagnose me. She asked me if he left a note, and yeah, when she read the note that my ex left me, and she told me that what he did was successful, I ran out of the office, and I never want to see a psychologist ever again. That traumatized me forever. And my parents were very not supportive in this whole process. They thought that it just didn't make sense to them why I would associate with somebody who wanted to kill themselves, and they knew that I wasn't brought up that way, and I never surrounded with any type of friend that was like that. So the fact that I even considered dating somebody like that, they just couldn't understand, and they didn't even care to figure out that whole situation. So every time it was brought up, I just always had to lie to them and tell them that I was doing something else, even though in reality, I would go to the cemetery every day and visit him and just, sit there for hours talking to him about whatever it was I was working on in school, and just how badly I felt about everything that happened, because it happened during my birthday, and it just happened so fast. And like I said, my parents were not supportive of the whole situation, so it was literally like just me like holding on to all of these emotions for a long period of time.
What was your escape?
So my last year, while I was still in school, we had to create like a thesis final project. My final project was pretty much all shot in film, which was pretty much, how can I explain it? It contained pictures, self-portraits of me with things that my ex liked, such as origami, such as, I'm trying to think, wow, I haven't even thought that far. There's a location that he liked going to, which was the George Washington Bridge. There's a park there, and I would always photograph there just because I felt like his spirit was there for some reason. And so anyways, my whole project just revolved around him. Yeah.
Did you bounce back from...
Is this still recording? Sorry. Sometimes I feel like it cuts off.
Okay. It's fine. Did you bounce back from all this really low part of your life?
It took me it took a lot of years for me to forgive myself and tell myself that I was not the reason for why he ended his life. And I feel that everyone who ever experienced something like this, where they lose a loved one and for some reason, they are involved, never think that it's your fault. It took a long time for me to understand that because I never lost someone before. And this was the first time I ever lost someone near, like really close to me. And the fact that it was, during my birthday and he was someone I was seeing, it just all pointed at me as the person who was at fault. But definitely photography helped me because I just was so into photographing people and anything and everything that I could take pictures of just to get my mind off this whole situation. So heavy, man. I feel like I'm like in some interrogation room. Like, Joan, what did you do? How'd you fuck up? Yeah, okay. The first time I ever felt really successful in photography was the year my dad passed away. Because when my dad passed away, I could have just sulked and did nothing with my life. But that was a year where every month I was getting published in some sort of magazine or online publication. It was just like never ending. And it was the first time I landed a cover on a magazine, and my mom, brought that magazine to her job. She even lost the magazine. She felt so bad to tell me about it, but she was so proud to tell everyone and all her coworkers that, my photo landed the cover of the magazine. And I've just felt like it was a blessing that even though my dad wasn't alive anymore, the fact that my work was just spreading everywhere and people wanted it, to be shown, I just thought I really was getting I felt I was really accomplished at that time. I mean, I still feel accomplished, but that was the first time I really felt accomplished in photography.
What was the most important?
What do you mean important?
There's always a first one, but there's an important, this is important to me. And
like photo shoot?
Yeah.
The most important photo shoot that I ever did was definitely when I photographed in my dad's hometown, which was in Marikina in the Philippines. I contacted the model over there and we photographed around my grandmother's house, and we photographed with my dad's dog, and just around the whole city we just photographed in different locations just because I wanted to photograph somewhere that my dad grew up. And back home here in America, I felt that not a lot of people knew where my dad was from, so it was pretty cool to see that get published and then have people see that and experience, I don't know, not even experience, just see the fact of how my dad, where he lived. And I don't know how else to explain that. I'm blanking out, yeah.
It's okay.
Ba, ba, ba.
Not stable, but is everything maintainable? Is everything okay?
Okay. Currently, I feel that I grew so much as a person, and sometimes I'm surprised of how much I've accomplished, because when I was in high school, I was very shy. I was very quiet, and you can ask all my teachers back then, they just you could ask my teachers back then, they thought that I just, was to myself, and they didn't necessarily knew what was going to happen with me in the future. And they focused more on other students that seemed to be more successful. And then the fact that when I went to college, I dropped out, and then I did my own thing with assisting other photographers. And then they saw that I was getting published and getting work and getting more clients. They just was really surprised that I was able to do all these things and that I broke out of my shell. And all of a sudden, I just became this whole different person that they didn't recall since high school. I definitely feel like I'm more extroverted now. I am more vocal. I know myself more, and I'm more confident in what I do, and I just want to share all of that with people.
And then can I get one more clap?
Clap.
Yeah.